Fox Carolina is the school station. We're taking a closer look at COVID infections in our schools. The latest information from DHEC for public and charter schools was posted a few days ago, September 10th. It shows 195 students have COVID-19, 101 employees were positive, and there are 296 additional cases associated with schools.
And Greenville County is also posting data on their website from September 7th through the 13th. There were 50 positive cases. We do want to note some of these students were not in the building, though, while infected, but the school district is still reporting positive cases. From August 17th through September 6th, the district reported 39 cases. But keep in mind, this is also the largest district in the state. There are a lot of kids in the district. And joining us live right now is Greenville County Schools Director of Media Relations, Tim Waller. Tim, thanks so much for joining us this afternoon here at 4. And, Tim, our first question is, it's a good chance that kids are going to test positive. It's just something that's going to happen with so many kids going back. And what do parents need to know, though, if their student actually is the one that tests positive?
Yeah, we knew going into the school year, Cody, that we would have positive cases, both with students as well as employees, teachers, custodians, cafeteria workers, things like that. And certainly that has panned out. We've had our share within Greenville County, the largest district. I think the number one thing parents need to know if their children fall ill and they become sick and then they go get tested and the test turns out to be positive is let the school know. Let them know right away. There is a notification system. We would eventually hear that information from DHEC if a student tests positive, but very often parents are a lot quicker to notify us than the state health agency, which is very busy right now. So we would tell parents, keep your child home. Please notify us in case we need to do some contact tracing and see who else was around that student.
And Tim, what constitutes a cluster at a school? We hear a lot about this from high schools, grammar schools, all the way up to colleges and universities. Do these positive cases actually need to be directly associated with the school?
Yeah, I think this is a general term that's being used by health officials. It could apply to a school. It could really apply to any setting. A cluster being where a whole bunch of people in the same place at the same time contract COVID-19, and therefore it's assumed that was the source of everyone getting sick. That happens in the classroom setting. Fortunately, Victoria and Cody, we haven't had that in Greenville County schools. Knock on wood, but we're very thankful about that.
Yeah, and Tim, how is the district notifying students and employees if they need to quarantine themselves? I know you guys have been working on this for months before you went back.
Sure, and that all boils down to the contact tracing. So imagine a student test positive for COVID-19. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to find out, was that student in the building at the time that they became ill, that they contracted the coronavirus? If the answer is yes, then we do a quick contact tracing. Who, during that student's school day, came in close proximity, if anyone, to that student? If we determined that there were people who were within close range, close contact is what we call it, and it's possible that they were infected, we will let them know and tell them to stay home and quarantine for 14 days. Again, fortunately, the majority of cases of COVID-19 that we've had in Greenville County schools has only involved the one student. There hasn't been a lot of other people surrounding that student who's had to quarantine as a result.
And what about if a teacher must quarantine but hasn't tested positive? Will they still be allowed to teach? Would this mean their classes go entirely virtual then?
Yeah, it just depends. If the teacher is like a full-time virtual teacher, we have those, and other teachers have opted to teach in-person classes, which right now, as you know, is on a hybrid schedule. So those teachers are doing both. They have a couple of days right now on attendance plan 2 where they're teaching in class, in person, and then they spend the other 3 days with e-learning. But we've actually had this situation that you're talking about where students have been asked to quarantine, maybe because their spouse or a family member through travels on their job has been told to quarantine, therefore they have to quarantine. So we have them teach virtually until their 14-day quarantine period is over. In the case where we have in-person class teachers who have to quarantine, we will bring in substitute teachers to supervise the children in person while that teacher at home who's quarantining teaches the class.
Crazy times here in 2020. But Tim, thanks so much for joining us. And I'm sure we'll see you back here soon on the 4 o'clock news. But thanks for taking some time out for us.